You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show.
Yay!
Yay.
Hi, girls.
Hi.
Thing is for doing, and here at AFTERBUZZ TV, we're doing another Project Runway All-Stars, Episode 1, Season 2. I'm Alina. We hosted last season's Project Runway here on AFTERBUZZ, and it was so much fun. We love fashion. We love the show. So we're really excited to be here doing Project Runway All-Stars.
Yes.
Lauren.
Hi,
Lo.
guys. I'm Lauren. You could still call me Lo, even though we don't have our other Lauren with us. But yes, we are the same team that just wrapped Project Runway last week.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's no time in between, and now we're just picking up right on All-Stars. So it's the premiere episode. We're so excited. And yes, we're all huge Project Runway fans.
Virginia.
Hey guys, I'm Virginia Reyna. I am the creative director for a fashion jewelry company here in Los Angeles and another fashionista. And I just love Project Runway and so excited that it really didn't stop.
I know.
Just another week.
I know. It's really exciting, and we were all kind of sad to see the last season end, but I feel like we've picked right up.
Yeah.
And we do have to mention we're going to miss Lauren.
We are going to miss Lauren.
We lost one Lauren. We had Lauren Squared before.
No, but you can see her on many other AFTERBUZZ shows.
Yeah,
she couldn't make it tonight, though.
But hopefully she'll be joining us a couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we will be having Cougar, who was with us last season. He's also an LA-based fashion blogger, and he'll be with us soon. He's just in New York.
Yeah.
But we do, like you said, Lauren is on other channels, so you guys can always watch her because we do have our fall lineup with tons of new shows starting all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting. But let's get into the show. Let's start with the host, who is Carolyn Murphy. If you guys look her up, I'm sure you'll recognize the face. She's been on a million covers. I think she's done Sports Illustrated. She's a pretty well-known model. She's not hiding.
She's definitely not hiding.
When she came out, I didn't know who she was. I'm like, I don't know who this person is. And even when they said her name, I wouldn't have recognized her name. But then, they showed all of her different covers. And I'm like, oh, yes, I know that face. When you see it, you'll know who she is.
Yeah, I agree. She's not like Giselle or Alessandra, where she's like a name brand. But it's all maybe if she was a Victoria's Secret model, we would all know her. But she's definitely had her share of fashion and Sports Illustrated and that type of thing.
I want to say she was the face of Estee Lauder's Beautiful or one of those perfumes.
Yeah, you could be right. Some kind of makeup brand.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, we'll find out.
And the designers that we have coming back on All Stars. My personal opinion, I don't think that they're necessarily the best of the best from the seasons.
Right.
But they're definitely characters.
Yeah, I think they just tried to get a really good mix of personality, which I think they succeeded in doing that. Yeah. For sure. They may be fun to watch.
Let's start with the list. You guys interject. Josh McKinley from Season 9. Emilio from Season 7. I didn't write down last names, so if you guys want to add, go ahead. Althea from Season 7, Anthony Ryan from Season 9, Suede from Season 5, Laura from Season 9, Ivy from Season 8, Peach from Season 8, Casanova from Season 8. Wow, lots of Season 8s.
Right.
Uli from Season 3, Kane from Season 3, Andre from Season 2, and Wendy Pepper from Season 1.
Yes.
Anybody stand out?
Casanova stood out to me because I remember Season 8 so clearly, and he his personality you'll never forget. Like, if he stays in this season for a while, he's going to be a memorable one. But what I do remember of his is that they were always a little scandalous. Like, he thought he was so classy, and they would come down the runway and they'd be like, slut. Like, this reads slut all over it. And he never understood. He's like, I don't get how you see slut. Like,
right.
But that's what I remember of him. And I think he's going to be funny to watch. And I was actually impressed with him tonight, but we'll get to that later.
I definitely think he stepped up his taste level. And that was always his thing. I felt like he does like Miami fashion really well. Or Vegas fashion.
Some kind of club going fashion.
But I think he's Puerto Rican, is he not? And that's maybe where, you know, you get that little scandalous
spice.
Why is that so sexy? Hello, it's like half her butt's hanging out.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, I was kind of excited to see Ivy just because she was such a bitch in her season and was just so rude to everybody. But at the same time, I'm having a problem not hating her because I hated her so much during her season.
Right.
So even today I was like, oh, her stuff is good, and I still hate her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone who stood out for me was Uli because I just remember loving her. I think she got down to the top 3. And Virginia, you mentioned, you're like, she made resort wear, and that's exactly what she made.
Really?
Like these really printed, flowy dresses. Everything was really well made. And again, we'll talk about what she made tonight.
Yeah.
But she's a good tailor, like our Mitri.
Yeah. Oh, I miss Mitri now.
I know.
Challenge.
All right, so let's get into the challenge. Joanna Coles, who is at the time, or at least when the show was filming, the editor in charge of Marie Claire, comes out and lets them know that they're going to do a team challenge. She picks 2 captains, Kane and Joshua, from a bag, and then they go on and pick team members and then so forth. So let's say Kane picks Uli, she picks the next person.
Right.
And what they do is they pick a attitude.
Right. That was the theme of the challenge, was the attitude.
There was a board with words like confident and bold, the 2 that the opposing teams picked. So we had team confident, team bold. What do you think of the attitudes they chose?
I didn't really notice a lot of the names. Like, they had a huge list. And it seemed like they were having a hard time, you know, agreeing on one. But I thought it was interesting that one picked confident and one picked bold because they're, you know, they're kind of similar, you know. And so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Do you think confident is easier to show, like let's say in a clothing collection, or bold?
You know, bold, obviously you can pick a bold color like they did, and that kind of gives it a little bit easier. Confident is more about like exuding a feeling.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And so it's like not only do you have to, you know, feel confident in your clothes, but then you have to like walk confident. You know, it's a completely different than just bold. Like the clothes can kind of stand up on their own.
Right. It's very literal, I think. But you know what's funny? When they picked confident and then they decided to go with the theme of leather and lace, to me, that would, if I was trying to design something that's confident, those would not have been the 2 materials that I thought of first, you know, but they really surprised me. But when I thought of confident, I thought of like dressy business attire, like really fashionable, like power suits. Like, that's what I thought of. So when I heard leather and lace, like different images kind of went into my head, and I, you know, I didn't know how it was going to turn out.
Yeah, you think sexy when you think leather and lace.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I do, at least.
And they even said that, like, when she was in there critiquing them in the workroom, she was like, this could go really scandalous almost because, you know, leather and lace can be trashy.
Yeah, it's true. So they were good choices, though, I thought, in terms of the attitudes.
They were good choices, and I think they did a really good job overall. Yeah. Team Bold went with a really pretty blue color and then black. I thought the blue was really pretty and obvious. And going into the challenge, I didn't know who I thought was the stronger team because I can't honestly say that I remember all of these designers and what they did.
Right.
But it was cool to see it all unfold. Let me add, $250 was given to each designer, and they had 30 minutes at Mood. And each designer made one piece, and the collection had to be cohesive.
Right.
All right. And before we head into the workroom, Lo, do you want to give our AfterBuzz fans the lowdown on iTunes?
Oh, well, yes. So it looks to me, and I don't know, but it looks like they're going to have another fan favorite. So I'll be checking in on that, and maybe we'll be giving you that update. But, you know, this is a brand new season, so we want to remind you guys to go to iTunes, subscribe to this new season. For those of you that joined us last season, pick it up right where we left off. You know, keep watching. Tell your friends and comment, because we did listen to your comments last season. We loved reading them, and we love the encouragement, and we love the support. You know, we want to do this for you, and we love hearing back. We love knowing that it's more than just the three of us in this room, you know, that we have you guys there commenting as well. So please go to iTunes, subscribe, and comment, and stick with us for the season, because it's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, workroom, Team Bold. They have the blue, and Peach, who we know wasn't a very strong player to begin with, was already started to lose some confidence when one of her teammates critiqued her. And it wasn't even a critique. I think one of her team members was giving her advice, and automatically she's like, well, that makes my confidence go down. So in the workroom, I was like, that is not a good indicator, Peach.
No. And then when Joanna comes to give her critique, you know, the first thing Peach says is, well, I design tennis wear. So, you know, if I were to incorporate my tennis wear into my designs, I'd stick out like a sore thumb. And I'm thinking, yeah. Of course you would. And if that's all you could do, you're not going anywhere. And to be completely honest, I remember Peach. And what I remember of Peach is that she was in and she was out. Aww. And I know it is so sad, because she's like, you know, the older of the bunch. And I think, like, God, if that was my mom I was watching, I would cry. I'd want her to stay in. But I was really surprised that they put her back on.
I completely agree, because Peach is the type of design, like there's different designers. There's designers who design for other people, and then there's designers who design for themselves. And she is definitely the type of designer that has to take direction. You're not ever going to see like a Peach line anywhere. You know, unfortunately, maybe in the tennis, maybe it'll be a Peach tennis line, but it's not going to be something you're seeing around the world at fashion shows.
No. That's
just not going to happen. I'm sorry, Peach. Like, you're very sweet.
Maybe in a country club for retired people. I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean. I have grandparents that live, you know, in Palm Springs. I won't go on a tangent, but I could see that in their like country club little store.
Right, but it was almost like we had to remind her, like, you're on Project Runway. You're not here to figure out how your dress is going to translate from tennis, you know, on the tennis court to day wear. That's not what we're here for. We're here to, like, design our own collections.
Yes.
Maybe she wanted to have her own tennis collection, though. I don't know.
She does have the best name on earth, though. Peach.
She's very sweet.
And she's sweet like a peach.
She was sweet. I was sad to see her go. And when we get there, I will say that I don't think she should have been the one to go in this particular competition. But we'll get there.
We have to get there because, oof, do I have a bone to pick, too.
Serious.
Team Confident. In the workroom, what stood out to me was Wendy Pepper. God, these people are like their names. She's a little
peppery.
Yeah. She already has names for people. She's like, Althea, that's Miss Bossy Pants, blah, blah, blah. And the whole time she was standing out to me because she's like, I'm not here to make friends. They're giving me a toast. They're laying out the red carpet, and she's basically saying, screw you guys.
Yeah, behind their back.
Where was I when Wendy Pepper was on?
I don't know. I didn't see her season. So.
I didn't watch season 1 either.
She is definitely.
But I kind of want to go back and watch it now.
Yeah, I know. And everybody knew who she was when she got there. You know, and they knew her reputation. So I'm interested to see what she's going to do this season.
And for some reason, for me, I kind of mixed her up with the woman who was on our season with the gray hair.
Yes.
Yeah. And the teacher.
Yeah,
Andrea, the teacher.
Andrea. Yes.
And
I thought so too.
And automatically, I was like, she's not going to be a good designer. And then I saw her work, and I was like, she's a good designer.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So anything else that stood out at the workroom?
I loved when Joanna approached Ivy and straight out said, when I knew you were coming on, I was a little terrified to meet you because you were such a bitch. And then right when she says that, Ivy goes into like, I know, I was going through such a hard time. And it just like brings her to tears almost instantly. And it's kind of sad, but it was a little comical at the same time just to see how Joanna just like went for it. And Joanna seems like she would be, I mean, in her position, editor-in-chief of Marie Claire magazine.
The devil.
Like, I imagine she's a very nice person, but she's got to be a bitch to be where she's at too. You know what I mean? In a sense that she's a really strong woman, knows what she wants, and has to be firm. Correct. I guess. So I thought that was funny.
Virginia, you mentioned you didn't like Ivy. Did that pull at your heartstrings when
you
saw?
No, not one bit. I thought it was hilarious because I was like, everybody's thinking it. You know, everybody saw her as the bitch, and she was so mean to people on her season. I didn't feel sorry for it at all. I was like, oh, those are crocodile tears.
I think the tears were more about her ego getting hurt when Joanna called her out.
And she probably afterwards saw how she was portrayed, and then it's embarrassing, I would imagine.
Of course.
You know,
imagine all the hate mail she got.
I mean, I feel bad for her if what she really went through was a really hard time.
Sure.
You know, nobody needs to go through that, but I just loved how Joanna called her out immediately.
Yeah, and then she talked about going to the soup kitchen because she didn't have money for groceries. But she said she was working the soup kitchen.
She said she volunteered, right.
So that means she was stealing the homeless people's soup.
I'm going to volunteer just so I can eat there.
Maybe they get a discount.
Oh, man. Yeah.
We should not be laughing, but I was like, that's kind of scandalous. She's like ladling one soup
one for her, one for me.
Wow.
So wrong.
Yeah, so wrong.
Hey, she said it.
Yeah.
Runway. Let's start with the judges. Isaac Mizrahi, who we all knew, and you girls have met him, and you guys were mentioning he's so nice.
He is the nicest person. Yeah, he really is. Just kind of one of those people that doesn't think of themselves as a celebrity. You know, when they meet you, they don't. They're not used to like the royal treatment.
So chill.
Yeah.
But so talented.
I watched his documentary, which I will research and find out what the name was. But he seems so cool and like crazy and eccentric.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious to see what he's going to be like on the show.
Yeah.
And then we all kind of went when they showed Georgina Chapman. She's one of the designers of Marquesa, and she's
co-founder. Love her.
I know, right?
God, and
she's gorgeous.
She's
drop-dead gorgeous in amazing clothes. Like, what more could you want?
I know. And we were all swooning over this gorgeous red dress. Of course, it was Marquesa.
Of course.
Yeah, you have to rep your brand.
Well, and it's Marquesa. I mean,
and that's true.
I would wear it like to bed.
I know. Like, Virginia's watching wrinkles. Virginia is watching the show this season just to see which dresses Georgina wears. And I agree. I think I might join you.
It's going to be part of our conversation every week.
Yeah, you guys. So check out her dress this week. It's from Marquesa Fall 2012, this past year.
Awesome.
And
aren't we in Fall 2012?
Yeah, it's this season.
But they showed it like a while ago.
Yeah, they showed it in the spring.
Yeah, she's just, you know.
And then Rachel Roy, who's also a designer. She's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love her clothes. You know, I didn't know that she sells them at Macy's. And you can find, like, one of her lines at Macy's. And they are, like, well, that's, like, the only thing downtown. So I go there and I'm like, oh, my gosh, Rachel Roy.
Yeah, and it's really pretty. And
it's really pretty.
And it's not cheap, but it can be affordable. Certain pieces are affordable.
I have to say, I am really excited about the judges for this season. I mean, don't get me wrong, Nina, I love her to death. She's like my favorite person. And Michael Kors, as if I know them, right? I love them. But I just like the mix of these people, and they're so well informed. I mean, I guess so is Nina and Michael Kors. Maybe I'm just excited for the change, but I'm excited to watch these judges. I think they're going to be really good.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm excited about the women designers, Georgina and Rachel.
Yeah.
I just miss Heidi and Tim. It's not the same without Heidi and Tim.
I miss Tim a lot. When they left Mood, and like I don't even know who said thank you, Mood. I'm like, no, that's just not the same.
Joanna's great and all, but she's kind of cold compared to Tim, who's like
all fun and loving.
Father.
You want him to be your uncle.
Oh yeah, Uncle Tim.
Well, then we had a guest judge, Mondo, and you know, I loved Mondo during his season, but I swear he has just gotten so catty. It's
cocky is like what it is. He's gotten so cocky. I agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I don't know who he thinks he's Oscar de la Renta now, but he's just like
he's cockier than the people next to him who, you know, have careers that have far surpassed anything that he's done.
And what has he done? I haven't seen anything from Mondo.
He didn't win his season. He won the first season of Project Runway All-Stars. That's why they had him as a guest. Fantastic for him. He's, you know, a really fun, out there designer, and he's good at what he does. But I just found it really interesting that, you know, he was a guest judge on this past season of Project Runway.
Yeah, with Anya.
And he, on that episode and on this one, he's so critical of them. And I just think it's so funny because he's been in that position.
So you would think.
I mean, yeah, you would think he'd be more able to know where they're coming from, you know, and give more constructive criticism, I think, as to just being like, I don't like what you did, or I don't know. I just thought he seems a little too cocky for me, but he is good at what he does.
Well, and I think a lot of times with our guest judges, they're not used to the whole Project Runway aspect. So like when we had Hilary Duff last season, she was very sweet and she liked everything. You know, a lot of times the guest judges just like everything and they don't really have as much of an opinion. But you know, he was there, so he is. You know, it's like I kind of compare it to when you work in a restaurant and then you go and you like notice bad service all of the time.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the same thing.
Right.
Like he might just be like having that critical eye as opposed to, you know, he's done it all. He's like, you had enough time, you know.
Yeah, and so he knows. Yeah, you're right, and he knows what they can actually accomplish in that time frame, whereas other guest judges wouldn't. But maybe I kind of like that about some of the guest judges, that they're a little bit more like, you know,
I think there has to be a balance. I want to see the guest judge being critical, being honest, but yet a little nicer than, like, let's say the typical.
Just not cocky. Like, he doesn't even smile.
Yeah,
you know,
he has
even
an
when
air
he
about him.
compliments them, like, I like what you did, he still has a very straight face. Like, he's not going to grant you his smile. That's what I got from him.
I wish these Project Runway designers were doing more anyways. I'm kind of disappointed. I feel like there's true talent. So, you know, I want to see them at Barney's. I want to see them at Fashion Week in New York.
Well, that brings me to, you know, what do they actually win? Because this season, they are getting a ton of stuff. And it's almost like, how could you not do something with all of the different benefits that you're getting? They're getting to actually be a contributing editor, which I think is for an entire year.
Huge for Marie Claire.
So that's huge. They're getting $150,000 as opposed to just $100,000. They're getting studio space with all of the equipment you could ever need to actually start your business.
Brother equipment.
They get to go to Fashion Week all over the world. I mean, that's just got to be fun. You know, they said Berlin, Tokyo, Paris.
Paris. Just Paris alone. I'd be
I would take one of these prizes and be like over the moon.
Oh, me too.
I can't even imagine.
They all seem genuinely really excited when they hear that.
This is better than the regular Project Runway seasons, right?
Yeah. Caroline mentioned this is the biggest prize.
Plus they have the HP little
package.
Yeah, they have that.
The Nine West exclusive. They said it was $750,000.
Yes.
Or worth $750,000.
Yeah.
That's huge.
All right, All-Stars, let's see you guys do something with this amazing prize. Let's start with the runway. Team Bold comes out first. I'm going to talk about the looks I liked. I liked Emilio's look. And I liked Laura's look the best, though. She had the pretty blue peplum top. Emilio's dress was just the blue, and then it had like a black.
Like a little tube underneath that cut out. Yeah.
A little scandalous.
It was a little scandalous, but I thought it was pretty. It was well made. And Laura's top was really pretty. It was a blue peplum top, and it had a little slit in the back. The skirt was pretty too. I don't know if I love that, but
no.
Otherwise, I thought Suede was terrible on that team. Arts and crafts.
Well, I have to agree with you on your two favorites, Emilio and Laura. And actually, those are the only ones that I wrote, that I took notes on, that I liked. I like that, you know, those two put together actually look like a collection because of the shape of like the cutout in the front with the little bold or the black tube. And you're right. I totally love Laura's. That was just gorgeous. The blue peplum with the long black skirt. But yes, Suede was a V-neck black top with he basically took like what they were comparing to handkerchiefs. Yeah, drop-waisted skirt, which was a bunch of like handkerchief pieces pieced together, so it was like really flowy. I don't even know.
It looked
it
like
was
felt
awful. Like
to me
checkered.
too.
It looked very arts and crafts, and we cannot forget the shoulders with the bra cups.
Yeah.
He
layered
bra cups on her shoulders,
which he admitted to.
What size do you think those bra cups were?
I don't know. I hope an A.
They weren't a D. I know that. They had to have been an A over a B. So there was like a layered piece. I don't know, but it was like so bad. And you know, you didn't notice it when it came down the runway.
No, you couldn't tell.
Until they were critiquing him and they shot a close-up. And I thought, this is so a home project. Any kid could do this.
Just
like at home.
Where was the taste, though?
There, you know, and the thing is, every time someone does a handkerchief skirt, because it happens like every other season. Is there actually a name
for that?
No. But Michael, I mean, I know it's happened like at least 3 times in the past, and every time Michael Kors was like, it looks like a napkin you would just pull off and use to blow your nose. And it's true. And I know they did it during Mondo season, so that could have been why he was so annoyed by it. But Leanne Marshall, one of the winners, she actually did something similar. But it's like, that's a copied look. Like, it's not new.
Yeah.
And I liked the shoulders until I found out that it was breast pads. And then I was like, seriously? Like, you couldn't even cover it up?
Yeah, could do that at home.
You know who would really like that? Lauren. She's all about the shoulders. Lauren, if you're watching, we miss you.
We should make her one.
Put some breast pads on your top.
Her a shirt.
We should be
Belated
good
birthday.
friends.
Breast pads on her shoulders.
Done.
I love it.
Done.
And we could do it in different colors. Nude,
maybe
black.
add some spikes, rhinestones.
We could bedazzle.
Bedazzle.
There's endless possibilities for breast cups on your shoulders.
And Suede's kind of peculiar, too.
He's a different kind.
He wouldn't give him eye contact. What was up with that?
Yeah, and his last name is Baum. Suede Baum.
It is?
Suede Baum.
Scary.
Uh-oh.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about
the
the
message.
Oh, I just thought it.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah. And the purple hair and the outfit.
He was just, yeah.
Yes.
Scary.
Anyway.
Let's go to Team Confident.
The other team.
Yes, the other
start
team.
with that.
Go ahead.
I loved the other team. I thought, I was really worried when I heard it was leather and lace. And then when I saw their first look walk out the runway, I was like, wow. In every single look, I was like, I want these clothes. I want them in my collection right now. Let's see, Josh, he had, I wrote that I loved the back of it. For Ivy, she had that really pretty cream colored jacket that had the lace. The lace was a little confusing, but it was still a really nice tailored jacket, and it had the leather short, which I thought, you know, because I'm always the girly girl, and I felt like that's how I would want to wear it, so it does have a little bit of edge to it. And what did you guys think about that jacket? Because I know we all had like mixed reviews.
When I first saw it, I loved it. And then, Lo, I have to agree with you. You made a point about the lace being kind of weird because it was placed on the inside of the arms and then the waist.
Yeah. I just didn't like the effect that it gave when you saw her arms down next to her side. It looked like one piece.
Yeah.
You know, connected from her arm to her side. And I think it was Rachel Roy who said, I would have liked if you did one or the other. And I could agree with that, but I liked having it, you know, on both the arm and on the side, but I thought maybe put the lace rather on the inside of the arm, like near the elbow.
Sure.
Or incorporate it just maybe somewhere else, like maybe on the shoulder. I don't know. Like, I think it could have been done differently. I just didn't like the effect it gave.
It was still a cute outfit.
It was gorgeous.
I did like the edge, as you mentioned, Virginia, that the leather shorts gave it.
Yeah.
Althea, I wrote okay, pretty. Casanova, he had this, I really liked his dress, the black leather dress with the lace detail, and then the back was cut out.
Yes, that was a good one. And that's, I'm telling you, I was surprised. Because when I think of his taste back in his season, was like cha-cha all the way. And like, I would have never expected him to pull out an outfit like this. I thought it was great. And I actually, when we saw it being worked on in the workroom, I already knew I was going to like it. So I was excited to see that one.
Yeah, I loved the way the scallops went along the backbone because it just gives a really nice contour to, you know, it makes you look very feminine and girly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who had the white dress with the black lace?
That was...
Do you guys remember?
Uli.
No. She had the white flowy long dress that had like black lace down the center. I'm thinking it was actually very similar to Casanova's, but it was more a white dress with black lace on the shoulders that went into the back.
Oh,
it was
I think it was
similar.
Althea.
Yeah, that one was the one that had the open back, right? Or no, it had the sheer back.
Maybe. Well, I like
this one, Althea.
Oh, there you go.
Pretty.
I thought it kind of was similar to Casanova's in my opinion. I mean, different, but
I definitely thought their collection was very cohesive because, you know, if you looked at the jacket that Ivy made, it went in the waist, and that's what's always good for women because the black really shapes you. And then, you know, Althea used it again in the dress, and so it really gave it that look like you could mix and match. And I thought that was nice when they talked about it on the runway also, because Anthony Ryan's look with the really crisp white pant, I love that pant. I want that
here
pant.
it is right now.
Yeah. Oh, I love
and then
it.
like cute masculine top, and then she turns around.
I know. It's all sheer. I love it. You know, there was one look in this collection that we can't ignore that did not go with the rest.
Can't we ignore the look?
We have to because it was so bad. He got so lucky. Kane. It was basically like a full lace jumpsuit pants.
I love Wendy's look, by the way, too.
Yeah, Wendy's look was cute. I just feel like it looks like she's gonna get poked in the chin. I mean, I know she won't.
It just looks expensive to me.
It does.
So let's talk about the atrocious look you mentioned. I'm sorry.
It was just like a full. There it is. It was a full like pantsuit.
Lady Gaga
lace.
With a tacky 80s belt.
And that
was
belt,
the
remember,
that
it was
he had to Sharpie over
because it was white rhinestones.
Because it was so bad. If you gave that model those heels that Lady Gaga likes to wear with the backs out of them, I feel like that could be her next concert outfit.
It could. Totally. She's probably going to order that.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I loved the dress that Uli made.
It was very goddessy.
I felt like it was definitely Uli, but without the print. And it made it so nice because it's like you could just wear that, you know.
Yeah, everything in that collection, with the exception of the pantsuit, I'll say, I would wear, I would want, and they were all just gorgeous, cohesive, classy, and they were confident. They were kind of the perfect mix of leather and lace, like that little edge, but that sexy, feminine side of lace.
And not too much leather, not too much lace. They didn't go crazy.
It was perfect.
It was perfect, and I think the judges had a really easy time picking the winner. They didn't even hesitate. They're like, Team Confident, you're the winner.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Sorry, you guys. So the 3 worst looks to them were Suede, Peach, and Andre.
Who we didn't really talk about. His was that, it was kind of like a sheer jacket, I guess, but not with a sleeve, like a sleeveless kind of
it was confusing
over thing.
He actually had to explain it to the judges the way that it would work. It was definitely a few pieces that it was like, is that tucked in? Is it zipped up?
Because it was like a black silk tank with a black, like, tight silk skirt. It looks silk. Maybe it was leather. I don't know. But, no, maybe not. It had to be silk. But they were like, is that a dress? Is it 2 pieces? And then it had this black, sheer, like, kind of like sleeveless jacket with the blue lapels. Yeah. It was just, that was kind of crafty, too.
Yeah, it was just odd. Nobody kind of grasped it.
It reminded me of, I'm sure you guys, we've seen Clueless, you know, when she grabs that, like, little sheer thing that goes over it when she's going out with her white dress. That's what it reminded me of, but in black.
Oh, I see what
just like that sheer
so
coat.
Outdated is what you're saying.
Yeah, 1990 something. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that was a pretty dress that Casanova made.
They picked the bottom 3, but, like,
for that team.
I thought, for that team. I thought there just clearly was just one bottom. Like, why even pick the bottom 3 when there was just one that was so horrible, in my opinion, and that was Suede and the handkerchief skirt and the bra
the
shoulders.
Pad.
Yes. That's my opinion.
I agree with you. Let's talk about the good news, though. 3 people that got chosen was Casanova, Ivy,
surprisingly,
and Anthony Ryan. I'm not familiar with Casanova. I'm going to look up his old looks. But I thought his dress was pretty classy. And I mean, especially to do leather.
I feel like before seeing this, I would have expected him to design for Dancing with the Stars.
What?
You know, yeah.
I would
his,
even
like,
beyond, no, it's club wear all the way. Like, strappy back too tight. Like, shouldn't be wearing this dress. I mean, unless maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe.
No, you're not.
I just remember, it's been a while, but I just remember at the time thinking, whoa. Like, no, that is so bad.
Tim Gunn always being like, the taste level. Like.
Yeah, and he would look, Casanova, really? I don't know how he like talks. Like, team, I don't see it. Like, he just didn't get it.
That's
you
exactly
know, like it's classy. Like, you know. So I'm kind of excited. I hope like he's gonna really surprise us this season.
Well, people grow, their style changes, and
it's been a while.
His has obviously been for the best.
Yes.
Ivy, she had the white jacket that we were kind of torn on. I still thought it was really well made, and it was a cute outfit overall. So
yeah, I mean, I loved it. I didn't love the exact placement of the lace, but still, I loved it. I thought it was great.
And then, last but not least, Anthony Ryan. He had like that masculine look from the front, and then the girl turned around. She had that pretty lace back and great pants. Yeah. And it was really different from everything else, but
there it is again.
Stood out. And the judges loved it.
I loved it.
All right, so let's go with the good news. The winner tonight was, I think, our fave, Anthony Ryan. Woo! Really cute.
Yeah, he's good. I'm excited to watch him.
And surprisingly, the loser was Peach. What do you think?
I already said what I think.
Are you surprised? Do you think it's a political reason they let Peach go? Do you think her boring dress was worth getting kicked off?
I don't think it was worth getting kicked off, but she's not going to make it to the end, so I wasn't really attached. I was like, okay, one of the bottom is going to go. Yeah. You know, it wasn't really a shock.
I agree.
Why do you think they let Suede go with that atrocious dress?
I know. I can't even imagine why he was the first one that they said, oh, you're safe. And I kind of was like, I don't even understand that, because it just looks like an arts and crafts project. Like, I agree. I know we talked about this in there, and Virginia did say, like, okay, well, at least he tried. There was kind of a design concept to what he was doing, and I get that. But I still think, like, with Peach, like, it's very boring. But, you know, there could be style in very simple, plain, straightforward, you know, outfits. Like, it could be simple with just a touch of the bold blue. And if I had to pick for any reason whose outfit I would wear out of those three, if I had to, and I didn't want to, I would wear Peach's.
I agree.
So I didn't think she should have gone home in this challenge, but I agree with you, Virginia. She wouldn't have lasted regardless. So I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, since this is our first week, you guys, we don't have news and gossip yet.
No.
But Lo and maybe Virginia are going to work on that.
Yeah.
And we'll have that for you guys. But predictions.
Ooh.
Let's talk about our favorites.
I think, like, after seeing this first collection, I'm just so excited. I can't wait to see what else they're going to bring.
So who's your favorite, Virginia? If you
you
had
know,
to choose a favorite right now.
If I had to choose a favorite right now, I would definitely pick Anthony Ryan, just because
he impressed you?
He totally impressed me, and you know, as much as I want to hate Ivy, I kind of like Ivy. I'm really torn. It's like conflicting inside me.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm excited to see Anthony Ryan, to see what he's going to do. I think he's going to be really great. I could see him being the winner. It's a little early, but I could see him being the winner. I also want to see Joshua go far. He went far last season, or whenever it was, season 8. And he reminds me of Gunner from this past season, where I remember in the beginning of his season, he was like bitchy, catty, you know, out there kind of guy. But then as you got towards the, or not, yeah, maybe it was Gunner. You got towards the end, it was like, oh, he's getting nicer, and you started to like him a little bit more. And actually with Joshua, I remember his designs getting better towards the end. So I kind of want to see him go far again. So he's someone I'm excited to watch.
That's fair. And I have an attachment to Uli. I really loved her stuff season 3, and she was really nice. So I want to see her do different things. I don't want to see flowy dresses. And she's really talented. I think she could do it.
It's gonna
But
be good.
it will be a good season. And let's keep this convo going, you guys. Follow me on Twitter at _Alina23.
And you can follow me at LO_VALLES.
And you can follow me at Virginia Reyna.
Thanks for listening, you guys. Have a good week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
That was so short.
Yeah.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.